Hello, everyone, and welcome to this, the 19th edition of the Modern Woodworkers Association online discussion about all things woodworking. I'm Tom Iovino of Tom'sWorkbench.com, and I'll be your host for this program. Can it be 19 already? I don't know. It's moving fast here. Joining me today from Hotlanta, Georgia, which actually isn't that hot these days, is the home of Chris Adkins and the birthplace of the Modern Woodworkers Association and Coca-Cola. Chris from High Rock Woodworking. Welcome, Chris. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, Tom. How are you doing?
What is going on here, somewhere between your nose and your chin and between your ears? What's going on over there?
What are you talking about, Tom?
You're starting to look like...
It's my winter coat. I grown the winter coat, and surprisingly, every year I get a little more gray coming on the chin here. So
a couple of years ago, it looked just like Santa when Christmas rolls around.
Yeah. I've got to. Start eating a little more.
Just find that red suit and you're golden.
That's right.
Just need to be jolly.
I got to be jolly. Tom says I'm not jolly enough, so I got to work
get
on
more
that.
Jolly. That's your prescription right there, sir. You need to be more jolly. And
on
also from the ever dark, the sun never shines upon it, Long Island, New York. Yes, folks, that's how it's pronounced. Is Diami Palaki of the PenultimateWoodshop.com. Diami, can you see the sun from your window these days?
You're going to be shocked to find this out, Tom, but I was actually on a roof this afternoon, and while we were working, it got dark. We ran out of light.
You got to be kidding me.
I swear to you.
Always dark in Long Island. Chris, can you attest to this?
Yeah, there is no sun in Long Island. I'm telling you, the only times I've been in Long Island, as of you there, Tom, there's no sunshine.
It seems to be the case.
We just hoard it for ourselves. We're not open to visitors. We're selfish. We don't share our sun.
You only let us outsiders in the dark.
Exactly.
There's a reason why they call us the Sunshine State, you guys the Empire State. But that's no other story for a whole other discussion. And speaking about people from the cold, dark north, where it's starting to get very, very dark very early, from just outside of Providence, Rhode Island, or Boston, Massachusetts, whatever you're looking for, is Nick, don't call him Rick Rouleau of MansfieldFineFurniture.com. Nick, how dark does it really get in Boston, and how soon?
It's sunny 22 hours a day.
It's like the northern lights are just shining upon you, aren't they?
And kudos to you on your geography for knowing that I'm exactly equidistant from Providence or Boston.
See, kidneys right here. It's not just a fancy place to put my hair. Okay, you understand right there, you know? You know what I'm saying? All right. Okay. Since we have the gang all here right now, here's what we've been talking about, or here's some of the stuff we're talking about. And I think we need to start off with the big event that took place in the past week, or past 2 weeks, actually. And no, it wasn't Thanksgiving. It was one of the things that happened to me was I was sent up to New York City. My day job is I'm an emergency manager. And I was sent up to New York City to assist with the relief efforts at Hurricane Sandy. And during the trip, there was a woodworking moment where I did go visit Ever Nocturnal Long Island to visit the Ami shop. And I can tell you, I don't know how you work in that thing, man.
What are you talking about? It's tremendous.
You have to step outside to change your mind.
We make do with it, you know.
Yeah, we sure do. And there's a picture of me that's coming up right now on the screen, and it's just it's tight. I'm telling you, folks. I think Diami can strap the shop on his back and wear it.
Believe it or not, since then I've cleared a lot out. That back wall you see right now is already battened, and who knows? By this time next year, it may be insulated.
Well, hopefully there won't be another hurricane. But if there is, and I have to deploy back to New York, I plan on seeing it. I also had a chance to see that treehouse you're building, and that's I'm telling you, you need a certificate of occupancy for that thing.
Don't even bring that up. This treehouse does not exist. That's why it's dark here.
Okay, everybody listening, don't tell anybody that the Ami's treehouse should have power in it. It'll probably have a hot tub in before it's all done and said and done.
Yes, folks, ignore the internet.
Just don't look at the internet, folks. Just do this number, and you'll be okay. Well, enough about my exploits, although it was kind of fun getting up there and realizing that after you walk up 5 flights of stairs in Brooklyn in a decrepit-looking warehouse, that the Tools for Woodworking store is closed when you get there at the top. So it was rather exciting and quite depressing at the same time. So there's a picture of one sad monkey over there at the Ami screen right now if you take a look at it.
It was still good to have you, Tom, and thank you for helping out with Sandy. We certainly needed it.
It was long days, and I certainly, one thing I did realize is in addition to missing my family, I certainly missed my shop, and it was great to come back and start throwing sawdust again. So without a doubt, it was, and definitely thoughts and prayers go up to the folks in New York. They really took a hammer, and especially New Jersey as well. They took a beating for that storm, and it's going to take a long time to recover. So, any little bit we can do to help out, that's always a good thing. So, enough of this. But enough of this. There's some other stuff out there. Some other bloggers who've been doing some wild stuff. And who wants to take this thing about Steve Taylor and his exploits from the Midwest madness? Diami?
I'll take it. I was waiting for our fearless bearded leader to take this one.
He wasn't there.
Sorry, Steve Taylor over at Taylor Garage has been, I want to say slow, but in all honesty, Steve, you're doing it much faster than I am. So in rapid succession, he's been posting about some of the things that went on at WRA 2012 Midwest. So his initial post, which he was good and did, I think, on Thursday night of the event, was about the Thursday night meetup we had. But then his more recent post, which is much more substantial and actually has information in it, was about the classes, and he talks about the classes he took. He took a great one with Adam Cherubini about molding planes, and then Jeff Miller's class about chairs and how to work and Paul Search and just all the neat classes he took. So I think Steve is doing a couple of posts about the different aspects of it, and this most recent one over at TaylorGarage.com about the classes just fills you in on the formal part about what Woodworking America is about. And if you were there, it's nice to check in on what other guys were doing. And if you weren't there, this gives you a good sense of what goes on.
It's a big deal. I mean, there are a lot of classes, and I'm sure the same thing in Pasadena, where there's just some tremendous woodworking information being sent out there, and it's good to actually capture it, sort of do an analysis after the fact. I mean, is it worth it? And when you see some of the stuff that was taught in the classes, and I'm sure you guys could speak to Pasadena, just incredible stuff out there.
Right.
Absolutely.
Most definitely. Yep.
You guys are all talkative tonight. Just let me do all the chatting, okay? I don't think Nick has said 3 words, okay?
I'm trying to coordinate some of the online chitter chatter, but yes, I agree.
Good. We're all in agreement. There's nothing like 100% consensus. All right. Another thing, our friends north of the border. And I want to let you all know that if you're listening in the United States, there's a lot of support for the Modern Woodworkers Association north of the border in Canada, across the sea. Basically any place people are woodworking, they're finding out more and more about it. And one of our good friends up in Canada, Ian McKay. In Mackay, that's it. McKay from Toronto, and I learned that was the proper way to pronounce it. Toronto, you never pronounce the second T. Has been busy working with some vices on his new bench, and he's been doing an experiment. And it's kind of fascinating what he's doing. He's out there with working on a leg vise for his bench.
It's pretty cool the way he commented about how the chop is. He's seen a lot of chops come out lately with all the guys building their robots, and they're all kind of taking some sort of individual design with the chop. And he chose to make his look like a giant chisel head, and I think it looks pretty neat. You can see it on my screen share. Yeah. I think, it came out pretty nice, and I'm going to claim that it was my idea to use the skateboard wheels because I didn't read Jamil's post about it, and I've owned my skateboard wheels for longer than Ian has, though he seems to have actually installed them first. So he built his slide vise out of skateboard wheels and seems to say that it's working great. So he's kind of built his own glide leg vise, and it's working very well. So you can see Ian's bench is coming along very nicely.
Yeah, Diami, you have another step before installing those wheels, right?
Yeah, for some reason I need to build a bench first.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be a bench in between now and that bench, but that's for another night.
We'll look forward to that one.
I'd like to apologize, folks. We're back with more Modern Woodworkers Association online chat. Hey, Nick, tell us what's going on with this Modern Woodworkers Association meetup in Boston. What's happening with that?
Yeah, we have a Lee Nielsen hand tool event happening locally at Phil Lowe's shop in Beverly, Mass. We've posted a link to that on the Modern Woodworkers website. We are going on Saturday, December 1st. Anytime in the afternoon, come and enjoy the tools. They have some pretty good demonstrators. We've got, obviously, Lee Nielsen. We've got Matt Kenny of Fine Woodworking, Matt Bickford and Bickford Plains, Matt Cianci, the tool, not tool right, with the saw right, Tico Voigt, and Peter Follansby, among others.
Wow, that sounds like a loaded schedule there.
It should be a fantastic time. It always has. This will be my 4th year, I think, going up there, and it's always fun. A great time meeting Phil, seeing his shop.
I mean, just that's the price of admission itself. But then to see these other folks who are out there training, that's great.
Yeah, so I encourage anybody, if you're interested in coming up and joining us for the tools, afterwards, around 5 o'clock, we'll be going out for food and drinks.
Libations?
And whatever you like.
Always the best. Hey, one other thing I wanted to bring up. Last night in my Woodworkers Guild in St. Petersburg, there was I was elected as vice president. And one of the things that I threw out there was the possibility of maybe having just whole guilds join the Modern Woodworkers Association, sort of keep everybody up to date on what's going on in their local guild. Again, we're going to have to figure out how this would work, but it's a pretty decent idea if you get all the people who are in guilds to join. Now you've got 50 people or 60 people who belong to the guild now part of the association. So we'll talk more about this. Maybe have a few more details, but it sounds like an interesting idea to keep everybody up to date on what's going on around the country.
I think so.
It's good.
All right.
So wait, did you guys have a good Thanksgiving?
It was awesome. I was back home.
Yeah.
We just cried that Tom had left New York.
It's okay.
It was a sad, sad day.
But you were thankful that he'd come.
That's true.
Well, thankful that I left. Remember, some people bring happiness when they leave. Just remember that. But it was interesting because we got in Tuesday night from the airport, and we had been on 12-hour on, 12-hour off shifts for 12 days. And then what happened was we were able to get home, sleep for a little bit, and then the next morning my wife woke me up and said, time to go grocery shopping. We have Thanksgiving tomorrow. So we shifted gears immediately from disaster to disaster. It was wonderful.
How was yours, Chris?
It was good. Nice. Just went and spent time with family.
Was there a lot of wild turkey?
It's been a week. Well, there's a lot of you see a lot of wild turkeys running around up in the mountains, and it's no, I got to go with the jack. It's not the wild turkey, man. But it was nice. I actually saw a house up there, Diami. I need to send you some pictures of. I'll have to forward this to you. There's a guy building a house out there that's the exterior is OSB covered in TPO.
Can I move in? That is fantastic. But as much as I'd love to go down the road of technical roofing on siding issues, why don't we bring on our guests?
I'm not going to get started on it, but you would love to see this house with the exterior covered in TPO. Basically, guys, the outside of this is covered in rubber.
It's white plastic, boys, that you can heat weld. It's beautiful.
I am so uninterested.
It's root proof.
I know you are, Nick. Come on now.
I can hardly wait to see it. Just be sure to send us pictures, okay?
I'll send you guys pictures. I know you'll be excited about this.
Please do. And now, for the moment we've all been waiting for.
With that introduction.
There's somebody up there in the upper plains who's doing just amazing work, woodworking and with his school. The guy's an all-around nice guy. He travels with the whole family, and just one heck of an instructor. Andy Chidwick, welcome.
Hey guys, how you doing? Hey, I'm sorry, I'm tweeting this right now. Give me a second here.
I've just got on the air, Bob. Woo!
I wanted to see if this actually goes.
How modern!
So, all right.
Can't believe technology. Can you believe it?
What's going on?
What's shaking, man?
Hey, I got to make sure you guys understand that we're out here in western Montana, and we definitely pride ourselves as being very different than the eastern half, where Todd is. In fact, we call the eastern half of Montana, we call that the Western Dakotas. So Todd and I, even though you might think we're like neighbors, we're definitely in two parts of the world here.
Are you saying Montana's a big state?
You got it. It's a big state. And hey, a shout out to my buddy Todd. You know, last session here, Todd looked so cool with his little headphones on, but you know, he had those around his neck like this. So I think I should do that too. What do you think? That was pretty good, huh?
It's the Montana stuff.
Yeah,
It's
Love
a
it.
Montana posse, yo.
yeah. He's like a machine. He was like working like all day long, all night long.
He actually built a table during our interview.
Yeah, exactly. He was still busy. That's hilarious.
He's following right along too. He says that's a brutal copy of his style.
Yeah. Everybody's got to have their signature.
And the entire state of Montana is going to be walking around like this tomorrow.
Right, exactly.
You get the governor up in front of this legislature like this, at the session, so it'll be perfect.
Hey, Tom, I'm pretty excited about all the stuff that you've been doing up there, the relief efforts. Good job, man.
It's good to be there. If there's ever a hurricane that hits Montana, I'll be sure to stop by and say hey.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, we're not having too many hurricanes these days.
You're missing out, man. It's good times.
Good times, huh? Good times.
Good times. Yeah. They said something about what was it about Christmas being like hurricane season. You eat different kinds of foods. You always have candles around the house, and eventually a tree will be in your living room. So.
I don't know. It's pretty mellow up here compared to what you guys have been going through lately. So, you guys are great, man. I love seeing what you guys are doing here. This is awesome.
Sweet. Well, we love seeing what you're
doing.
Now, Andy, first of all, let's talk to you about the school. What's going on with the school? First of all, give everybody the address, how they can find.
Yeah, I got some goods here for you. We are at chidwickschool.com. And if you check out chidwickschool.com, you'll see what we've been offering for the last 5 years or so. Woodworking vacations, and nothing like coming out to western Montana, do a little fly fishing, having a good time out here, and having a woodworking vacation where people get a chance to build a custom piece of furniture.
So, what kind of furniture are people building, Andy? I mean, what kind of classes you teach? I mean, is this small little boxes people can tuck in their carry-on? Or are we talking like workbenches? What are we looking at?
Well, we're out here, so we acknowledge the fact that it's a little bit of haul to get out here, but it's a special time, and so my focus has been a fairly specialty style woodworking called sculptural woodworking. A lot of you are familiar with the fact that a lot of my work is very curvilinear in its base. So we've allowed the regular type woodworking, the introduction to woodworking kind of things happen in regional applications. But people want to come out here for learning an advanced set of skills. We teach various different sculptural woodworking techniques, and a lot of them from a week-long class to 2-week-long classes, chairs, tables, all that kind of stuff. But really kind of an organic curvilinear style focus. We'll spend some time talking about that a little bit more, but it's been fun to meet people. We had a group of 4 guys come out here. A number of them were woodcraft owners. They all converged out here, and don't tell anybody, but they smoked cigars and had a good time afterwards too. And it was just a good time hanging out and doing some real woodworking. So it was great.
Nice, good to do that out there and away from everything too. And it's. I mean, there's a lot to be said about you go to a school and you come in. You're right near the house, but to actually go away and just be part of this whole event. I mean, just where everything is sort of gathered around the school is a much different experience.
Absolutely. Well, and can't beat the view. Of course, it's dark right now. I think it's been dark all day.
Did you move the shop to Long Island?
Yeah, pretty much. But I set up these windows here. They look west, and they're just some beautiful, beautiful, picturesque scenery of the western Montana Bitterroot Valley mountains, of part of the Rocky Mountain Range. So it's just gorgeous out here.
Sweet. What do people do for lodging to go out there? Do they have to pitch a tent, get a chuck wagon? What do they have to do?
We have a lot of options. People typically are rolling in and getting. We've got some local hoteliers who take care of us pretty good, set us up for a week at a time, and actually really, really low rates. We've had a number of people just haul over here in their RVs. Guys from Florida your way, they love to travel. So wow. I had somebody travel all the way out here and just rolled an RV out for a couple months, and then they just camped out in our yard, and we had a good time. It was great. Nice. So yeah, lots of different options.
Sweet. Right. Hey, just before we get going much further, I just want to ask you a couple quick questions.
Absolutely,
Andy. Just kind of what we're doing is everybody we interview, we're asking the same 5 questions too. How'd you get into woodworking?
Oh man. You know, I get asked this a lot, so I do have a my normal response. Basically, I give my dad a lot of credit for it. However, he never did any fine woodworking. He was the kind of guy who was a handyman who could, you know, one day just go in and say, I'm going to remodel the bathroom. And he pushed out a wall and fixed this here, fixed that there. And I watched that as a kid growing up and realizing, you know, there's a very tangible way to, you know, build things. And I started kind of showing some interest in it. It wasn't until, though, when I was just after we got married, I got a job at a cabinet shop where they were remodeling Disneyland, and they were building Disneyland's Toontown of all places. And so one of the first big jobs that I got was getting involved with working at Disneyland, and they had everything was, you know, curved, you know, doors and windows, and nothing was straight, and it was just an eye opener trying to figure out what the heck is going on here. So I learned a lot, and then started doing finished carpentry in construction. That really put a lot of skill sets in my tool belt, so to speak.
So, Andy, are you trying to tell me that this curvilinear form that you're building is actually Disney style?
Well, I hate to kind of call it cartoonish.
So you're making some Mickey Mouse heads.
Oh, come on now. No, seriously, it's more of a, you know, just the fascination with a very curved line. So that's kind of where it started. Yeah.
Sure.
As of late,
one
actually.
Of the things that, no, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, as of late, much of the stuff that I've been looking into, I've been studying a bunch on Art Nouveau, and just been fascinated by Art Nouveau lines, and so I'm trying to pull some Art Nouveau work into some of my current pieces.
Cool.
Chris.
Yeah. So a minute ago, you mentioned your tool belt, so that brings up our second question. Because we all have our favorite tools. What would you say your favorite tool is?
Oh man, you hand tool.
That's a hard one.
You hand tool purists are going to kill me, because this is probably not the best traditional woodworking tool. I pulled this one out knowing that you're going to ask me that. I'm a sculptor. My biggest thing is sculptor. So a right angle grinder with this tungsten carbide cutter head on it. It's called the Holy Galahad. I do a lot of sculptural work with this, and I kind of get in my zone, my groove when I get this tool in my hand. So this one, that's my favorite tool.
No, that's a great tool.
And I can appreciate that. Actually, I'm going to be writing an article on this pretty soon. I was driving up to North Carolina, and I passed this place all the time up in the middle of nowhere up through there, right on the North Carolina, kind of Georgia line. And there's a guy up there who does all these carvings, and they're fantastic carvings with chainsaws. And,
oh, yeah.
You know, I've saw some rough chainsaw carvings, but this guy does detailed stuff. So yeah, I mean, I can appreciate using some stuff on carvings like that for power.
Well, let me show you what I do with this. I got a screen share I can give to you.
Yeah.
Here's one of my most recent pieces. This is actually in the museum that Todd and I are showing at right now. This is the what I call it Shockwave. You see that at all?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, this was all organic sculptural woodworking, so a little different than your chainsaw carvings.
Sure.
But, you know, I really try to push some fine lines to it and some sculptural work.
Beautiful.
Kind of a fun piece.
Beautiful.
I had a picture of one of my chairs that I was going to show you, but it didn't come up here. But
those chairs are gorgeous that you make. I got to tell you, I just stare in awe. And when I went to that woodworking show with you, it was impressive.
Oh, thanks, Tom. Well, hey, you got more questions? Sorry, I was going to do.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Yeah, I was going to do a nice segue, but that's.
Hey, Nick, you're up.
Yeah. Well, before I go into what our questions are, we have a few questions from the online world. One I'm going to hold on to because I know we have some topics on that later. But regarding your school, the question is: do you have set classes, or are they all set by the people who come to take them? Which I guess that means. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. You know, when I set up the school, I considered doing a couple different options, but primarily what's worked really well is to set up specific classes, and we just sign up to about 4 or 5 students at a time, and those classes can be found on my website at chidwickschool.com. You'll be able to see what classes are being offered when. Every year is different. I kind of focus on a number of chair pieces because that was kind of my background is chair building. But there's quite a few other pieces. Actually, one thing I'm designing right now is a fly fishing workbench, and that's going to be a fun new project that's very Montana. It'll be fun for those fly fishing enthusiasts.
Cool. Our question was about who influenced you the most, but I think you touched on that. You know, your dad. But in sculptural woodwork, what do you find as the biggest stumbling blocks? What are the challenges you face regularly, and how do you get around them?
Dust collection. Dust collection. You know, you can do everything in the world to try to collect this stuff, but it's just everywhere. You know, most of what I do is again sculptural work, so there's a lot of grinding, rasps, files, spoke shaves, and all that kind of stuff. So as much as I can do to do something with a hand tool will help alleviate that problem. But there are a number of times when I just go at it with a grinder to sculpt. And as much as possible, I'll take that piece outside. It's not a bad day when I get to stand outside in beautiful, beautiful Western Montana, look at the view, and work on you know, a new piece of furniture. So
and build the mulch pile at the same time.
Yeah, right. Oh, did that answer your question?
You got it,
Yes,
Diami.
absolutely.
Hit it, Diami.
Diami hasn't remembered to unmute himself again.
Diami, you're muted.
You're right. I'm sorry. I was searching for the Festool part number that I'm missing, which is the sander that's basically a grinder.
Oh, yeah.
That's got to be a tremendous help with the dust collection to touch on the last one. But,
well, that's one of my yeah, that's a great segue too. One of my second favorite tool is the Festool RAS. It's the right angle sander. Yeah, and Diami's talking about it. That is a great solution. It's not as aggressive as this grinder, but it works kind of in the middle stages to help sculpt and smooth parts, and it does a brilliant job on dust collection. I'd say a good 95% of the dust gets sucked right up through that tool. So
yeah, I find you put a hard platen on it and 24 grit paper, and it's not as aggressive as the grinder, but it'll still shape pretty damn well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, I've diverged. I'm sorry. We need to get back to the questions. So the final of the 5 questions: how has the internet influenced your work?
Oh man, well. I'm a voracious reader, so constantly trying to pull in information. I was never formally taught as a woodworker, but as you guys can attest to, we're all lifelong learners. So you ask my wife, I'm constantly on different sites, gaining new ideas, gaining new insights. But one of the most exciting part of things I've learned recently is to actually move away from looking at other woodworking sites and actually try to find other elements of outside my field of study, my work, to be inspired by, looking beyond woodworking to gain insight, to gain inspiration, those kinds of things. So a lot of times that's what I'm doing is just kind of using the internet to be a source of new energy, a source of new excitement to apply to some new creations. Beyond that, it's a great tool for me as we've grown the last few years. We've been able to start offering different experiences online, and we are really ramping up this year to really have a lot more presence online to be able to create some new resources for woodworkers.
That's great.
I wanted to ask you about that because we saw I don't know, maybe a month ago you came out with a video about plexiglass, you know, choosing grain with plexiglass.
Yeah, you saw that. That's great. That's
absolutely.
Great.
Yeah, we get around.
The internet goes 2 ways, Andy. It goes 2 ways.
I forget that.
So I have 2 questions. I have 2 questions. Yeah. Is number 1, are there going to be more? And the second question is please let there be more. That's not a question. It's a statement.
Yes, there are. Yeah, those were some of our first attempts at putting some information out. Really, my whole point is to be able to take some of our passion and creativity and put it out there for people to get information. Those were just a couple of our quick tip videos. They were basically to some of my more recent things that I kind of learned, and I love giving information out. So I think it's a very important process of being part of a woodworking community is to take what you've learned and share it. It only makes me a better woodworker when I can take what I've learned and turn it into a synthesized concept or point and be able to demonstrate that and communicate to others. It helps me to release myself from that as my my ceiling, so to speak, and start from there and move on to other stuff. So it's a constant growing process.
Cool. Gotta like that.
So
Now,
yes, there is more of those on its way, actually, as we speak.
see, we didn't have to beg. It's okay. I knew you were on. I knew you were on it, Andy.
Yeah.
I just knew it. Hey, Andy, talk to me about the Sawdust Tour. What's going on with that? The festival-sponsored roadshow?
Thanks, Tom. The Sawdust Tour. We are so excited to tell you guys and let everybody know that we're back on the road again. 2 years ago, we were out with the Woodworking Show. Actually, we've been doing the Woodworking shows for upwards of 5 years now, but 2 years ago, we were at every single venue that the show had to offer, and it was a great experience. Something fell through last year, and scheduling and timing didn't work out, and we weren't there, but we're back, and what we're trying to do this year is to create something a little bit bigger, a little bit better, and a little bit more comprehensive and global in promoting what we're calling the Sawdust Tour. Now, well, like I said, 2 years ago, we were just out there at the woodworking shows. Now what we're going to be doing is as we travel, see, the shows are the weekend, right? And we have time to travel in between and go see and do things as a family. But we want to take the Sawdust Tour and turn it into a journey of community, meeting other woodworkers, telling other people's stories, seeing the places and the people we meet along the way. And so we're going to be journaling all that through video work and constant blog presence and Twitter. So we want to encourage people to follow us and to be part of that. And with that in mind,
you better come to Tampa.
Yes, only if you've got a little jambalaya for us there, Tom.
The pot will be steaming.
Nice. Now we actually have on a brand new website. It's still in the works, but we're gonna kind of put that up here. In fact, let me just put all my screen share stuff up here so I can be actually prepared for this. Yeah, where'd it go? Yeah, one of those screens. Oh, maybe I didn't bring it up. Okay, I'll find that in a minute. Sawdusttour.com. That's where you want to head. You'll be able to see a map of where we are and what we're doing. We'll be having a following where you can actually do some live stuff. We've actually picked up a handful of GoPro cameras, and we're going to be trying to do some work with those GoPro cameras as well. Lost track of where you guys are. Hold on a second.
No, it's okay. Diami just brought it up. Diami, speak a little bit so you could get your screen up there.
Yeah, it's a great picture of Andy standing in front of a picture of Andy, which is the best way to see Andy.
Isn't that funny? That's yeah.
And if you look in the background, there's another
Andy's
picture
in the
of
back.
Andy.
It's Andy's in the back.
Shoot.
So
anyway,
so Andy,
yeah.
So
go ahead.
Chris,
so Andy, with that, are you going to be so you're going to be going to all the woodworking shows, and this will be kind of just an extension of that? Is that
exactly
basically how you're going to work this?
The woodworking shows are the cornerstone of where we're going and why we're going. But in between time, it's something bigger, and we've got a lot of stuff to give away to people. We want to actually go to people's shops and drop in on the road, meet them, do a little filming, show it. Hey, Tom's got a shop. I've seen Tom's shop.
I'll say you got an invite. You got an invite from all of us.
You stood in
We
my
got
shop.
4 shops right here for you, Andy.
That's great.
We've got Atlanta, we've got Boston.
That's awesome. That's
Long
awesome.
Island, and Tampa.
Hey, when you come, I promise it'll actually be sunny.
It will. It's good. I hear you're still working on your shop, so maybe that's
So how many?
get it done by then. Huh?
Yeah, okay.
Because
Right.
the penultimate shop.
Shit.
That's funny.
How many shows
The
do you know
Chris
they're
Freeze?
going to be this year? I mean, it sounds like the. No,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
I can hear you. The woodworking shows this year, well, you guys have probably heard by now, I assume you've heard, the woodworking shows has transferred hands. We are now under a new ownership at the woodworking shows. And I can't tell you how excited I am about that. The guy that owns that show now, just a consummate professional and knows his stuff, knows his business, and he is already pushing for some growth and expansion. By default, this year had to be a shorter season, just because some of the transitions that happen and when they happen. But the bottom line is he is pushing towards some new and exciting seminars and new information out there, and the shows are going to be continuing to grow. You'll notice if you join, go over to the Woodworking Show's site, that they've identified 2014 season as well, with some new venues that they're going to be attending to. So a lot of the okay, that's right. Okay, there's my daughter. Hi.
Hi.
So, as well as going to the woodworking, excuse me, the Sawdust Tour site, we also have set up a Facebook page as well. So that's Facebook the Sawdust Tour is yeah, Facebook the Sawdust Tour. I got all this up for a screen share now. Hang on, there it is.
We just want to see your lovely face. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's right. There's all my goods. There's all my goods. Okay.
So if you're watching our video right now, there's a whole bunch of good stuff for you to go and scribble down real quick.
If not, we'll put it in the show notes.
Gone.
No, I could put it back up later. All right. So anyway, yeah.
I promise we're going to work on some show notes a little later.
We are we're proud to also say that we are being sponsored by Festool on this too. So we're going to have a little bit of swag to give away while we're out on the road, and they're actually going to be doing a nice drawing from all the contacts we get, and there'll be some cool tools to give away.
That's great.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So meanwhile, back home here, before we leave, I just thought I'd tell you we have just had about a dozen middle school kids here in my school.
What's up with this?
Yeah. You know, one of the things that was exciting for us to do here recently was to get connected with a local school and give them a chance to get some shop time. This middle school didn't have a shop class, and so we've got kids, basically eighth graders. I got a dozen eighth graders cruising around my shop, but they're getting to do a lot of cool stuff. They're making cutting boards, they're making candle holders, and a bunch of Christmas gifts type items. So it's kind of a good thing to do here, and we're excited. I was actually inspired by some of you guys in the Get Starting in Woodworking program that you guys started, and got me thinking, what could I do to really help out? And so this is a good results of some of those efforts you guys have put out there.
That's great. How often do the kids come by?
Well, it's an after-school program, and so the bus literally hauls them up here, drops them off. They've got snacks in hand, and they do a little after-school snack, and then they get here. I think they're here about an hour and a half to 2 hours a day after school. They don't come on Friday, so 4 days a week. And
why can't I go?
Yeah. Well, come on over.
I need a bus that gets there in a hurry. I'll take the short bus. It's the one I normally take anyway. So,
does it go there?
I was waiting for it. Who'd we lose? We lost somebody.
Boom. We lost Chris. Don't worry about it. He'll come right back. It's all good.
Yeah.
Hey, Andy, for a moment, let's talk a little about this Museum of the Rockies exhibit you and Todd are participating in. Todd went into detail about what he was doing. What do you have up there? What are some of the stuff, and what kind of an honor is it to be selected to be in that museum?
No doubt, Tom. I mean, what a cool experience. You know, I got over there and when we first set up, and I was floored. I was floored by all the amazing woodwork. And as Todd mentioned, just the sense of being in that community and being in that environment with so many other people who are in some ways like-minded because of our passion for woodworking, but in other ways very different. You know, there was some guys who doing work that I would have never considered doing, but I was so inspired and so appreciative of the art and the pieces that were there. So you know, the process was pretty cool. You know, we got notified. We've been working on this for months. Well, I guess Todd's had been working on it for weeks of it.
Days.
Days or something like that.
Mere minutes.
But we were invited to the show actually about a year ago, I think, And it was kind of interesting because it never experienced any museum level show before, and to be part of something that was identified as a growing culture of woodworking in our region. And you know, again, Montana is a pretty spread out place, so to bring all that together and to get connected, it gave me inspiration. It gave me a chance to really be energized by that community. And you know, it's pretty awesome. So that table I showed you, that was one of the pieces that that was on there, and my studio chair, which is kind of a really organic, curvilinear kind of chair, but very asymmetrical in its look. I don't have a picture of it here, but that's another piece in there. But you can go to the Museum of the Rockies and see those pieces online. They've got those as well. But just what an honor! What a great privilege to be around that many other woodworkers, and to see such respect for the craft.
I mean, it sounds like a heck of an honor. And again, I mean, just to see the collection, I mean, it has to be incredible.
Absolutely, absolutely. I keep waking up in the middle of the night just dreaming about what was there. You know, from
Does your wife Sherry have to pinch you every so often?
yeah, exactly. Stop twitching, you know.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about the woodworking coach and the video and plans and things like that. What's going on over with that?
Well, kind of part of our overall game plan is to really begin to pour into the woodworking community as much as possible. So as a partnership with the woodworking, or excuse me, the Sawdust Tour that we're going to be doing, come late spring, probably May or June when we get back from our show tour, we're going to be starting online membership classes. And what we're going to be doing is creating online content that people can take our class without having to come out to us. And it's been something that people have been asking for a long time. I finally got all of my technology all lined up and ready to go. And this is kind of our push towards being able to be a greater resource, not isolated out here in Western Montana. This will be a great experience for those who still want to come out here and still be part of the the woodworking vacation experience. But more importantly, I didn't want to be just catering to a very isolated crowd. There's a lot of woodworkers who would love to learn and take their woodworking to the next level, and these are the kinds of things that we feel like we can offer. So the woodworking coach, that's going to be our shtick, and we're going to be just kind of being there to come alongside other woodworkers to carrying them through their growth and journey along the way.
Now, does that sounds fantastic, and I'll put myself in those people who are not quite ready to get out to Western Montana or not quite able. I'll say I'm ready, I'm just not able. But something that I can consume at home is fantastic, and I've been hoping you'd do something like that, because after watching you at the woodworking shows a couple years ago, I need to watch more of you. Thank you. Oh no, thank you. I'm looking at the topics you wanted to discuss. I'm seeing the professional development program. Does that dovetail into the woodworking coach, or is that its own idea? Where are you going with that?
Yeah, that's kind of. I gave you guys a list of this. That's where they're getting all these cues. But the professional development program is partly related to that, but it's me taking what I do here out in the school, packing it in a vehicle, and going to a region and helping shop teachers who are looking to expand their curriculum, their knowledge base, and teaching to a community of shop teachers. As an example, this coming this summer, we've got a group of shop teachers over in the Portland, Oregon area, and rather than hauling all those shop teachers out here after they spent their time at school, they want to have a break. But I'm going to come out there. It's going to make it a little easier. So as a regional support to shop programs that are needing an opportunity to expand their skill base. A lot of times shop teachers are the soccer coach with a little bit of woodworking background, and we want to really empower them to have a bigger vision of giving kids the opportunity to experience really what woodworking is all about, and so we're really trying to support that. And so that's the professional development program that we're implementing. It's at a grassroots level right now, but as years go on, we're going to be able to kind of add to that.
No, that's I was going to say that's fantastic. And do you see a lot of shop classes out there? Because I'm sorry to say, at least in the island in our region, shop classes are a dying breed.
You're absolutely right. You know, the thing is, I've been noticing the trend is goes regionally, you know, and part of it is the communities that these programs are around. For instance, you know, I can only imagine there's a big difference in terms of rural versus suburban versus urban environments, you know. And the group that I'm going to be spending some time with over in Portland, Oregon, there's actually a vibrant shop program. A good friend of mine is teaching a shop program in Salem, Oregon, and he has actually partnered with industry leaders, people who have, you know, cabinet shops and things like that, and they are treating that shop program as a farm team to take these kids who are not necessarily bound for college, but moving from high school. They've got a passion for what they do. They're learning woodworking, and they're getting offered full-time jobs in these cabinet shops. And we want to support that. We want to make that good. I mean, he's got a classroom of, I think, 200-300 kids,
Wow.
you know, in his program. Not a classroom, but in his whole
It
program.
only makes sense. I mean, it
Yeah.
only makes sense.
You know, we're finding ourselves at a crossroads here pretty soon with the this whole concept of we've pushed education towards information technology, and now we have no one left to actually build or do things, right?
Right.
And you know, as our economy has, you know, dropped down, is beginning to kind of ramp back up, we're recognizing that there's a need. I had an email from a guy up in Seattle just 2 days ago. He says, "Do you graduate any students? I'm in need of, you know, hireable, you know, employees right now. Plus, I have a friend in Colorado, and another, he listed another spot, who are all business owners looking for qualified employees. Can you provide us any?" You know, so it's an interesting concept. Even though the unemployment rate is high, employers are looking for qualified
Yeah,
woodworkers.
that skills gap is a huge problem
It's
in
huge.
the
It
country
really is.
today.
Well,
So
we're thrilled to see you doing I mean, you know, a big part of the Modern Woodworkers mission is promoting and fostering opportunities for education for youth and for adults.
Yeah.
We're thrilled with the work you're doing on that
you.
front. But
Thank you.
so just to move on real quick, we have one viewer question regarding where you get your design inspirations from. Do you have any recommended websites for listeners to check out where they might go for ideas?
You know, that's a tricky question. Here's the
Where do
thing.
you get your inspirations from? Online.
Yeah, not the moment you start looking at other people's work and saying, "I want to do that," you are not necessarily tapping into your own creative work. You're just in a reproduction mode. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, right? You're in the work of, "I like that and I value that and I want to do what that person does." What I try to encourage and foster is getting connected with your own creative energy.
Mhm.
How you can say, I want to create a new idea, and I want to create a new piece, and where do I start? How do I do that? And one of the biggest things I teach my students is be an observer. You look at a car going down the road. You look at a tree out there. What do you see? And to take that idea of a car or a tree and say, well, I see lines. I see a feeling or emotion or an inspiration that comes from that and that ties that in. Let me give you an example of that. One of my recent, a couple years ago, I made a, shoot, I don't have it. One of my chairs, it's one of my dining room chairs. It's the arch back chair, and the arches on the back of the chair are actually inspired by a trip we took to Arches National Park. And oh gosh, I wish I could pull that picture up here. Where is it? And it was just a great trip that we took, and I wanted to kind of take that and turn it into a piece. Now, we're not trying to be representational. Never do I actually take a piece and say, this is going to be the exact reproduction of what I see. But we're trying to synthesize the feeling, the emotion, the tangible object that is from it, and then take that and try to apply that to a piece. Some of my recent work here, I'm tethered to this to this microphone, so I can't go here. This is one of my recent Art Nouveau mirrors. Of course, I'm going to drop it right here. I'm on camera here. So this Art Nouveau mirror is a free-form mirror that, you know, is it actually wraps around the back side of the mirror and is part of the support system. And the form just really really organic in nature. I saw some reeds down in the river and saw how the river kind of had a flow to it. And so this is kind of a floral piece. Now, I'm not going to say it represents anything in particular, but it did come from some tangible inspiration from some of the things and objects that we noticed around us. So that's kind of one of the biggest things to answer the question is, where do you go for inspiration? Inspiration starts here. If you look and observe and try to take ideas and synthesize that into something that you can create, because at that point it becomes part of you and it's your own expression of work rather than just reproducing somebody else's.
And
Nice.
it's poetry. I'm telling you, the work is poetry. And I cannot, and I'll tell you what, I don't want to go too far out on a limb, but I really want to thank you, and I think all of us thank you for sharing your insight into woodworking. It just, it goes so much more than sticking two pieces of wood together. It's emotional. It's poetry. I mean, when you think about it, it's the kind of thing there. And really want to thank you for coming out tonight and talking to us about it.
Thank you, guys. Well, for sure, come see me at the shows. We're going to obviously be at all the shows here this season. One of my seminars is going to be talking about the 3 most important tools a woodworker needs to have.
Can you give us a hint?
It has nothing to do with tools.
We can only look forward to this one. This is going to be awesome. Andy, you take care. Hey, say hi to the family for us too, okay?
We'll do. Thank you, guys. We'll look forward to seeing you guys here soon.
Outstanding.
Can't wait, Andy. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
Take care.
Andy.
All right.
Take care.
What an enjoyable interview that guy Andy. I'll tell you, he's a piece of work, one of a kind.
Gentleman and a scholar.
You got it both. Unlike me, I'm a gentleman and a lady. All right, so I'll tell you what. We're gonna wrap it up now. So just so you know, I am Tom Iovino. If you want to find me, you can find me at tomsworkbench.com, and I'm at Tom's Workbench on Twitter. Chris, where can people find you?
Of course, I'm Chris Adkins, and you can find me at highrockwoodworking.com, or you can find me on Twitter at highrockww.
I am Dyami Plotke of the penultimatewoodshop.com. I'm at Dyami Plotke on Twitter. That's DYAMIPLOTKE. And if you go on a particular Saturday night, you can find me at the Tim Hortons around the block from Grand Central Station.
Yes! The only place to be. And Nick.
MansfieldFineFurniture.com. And as a reminder to everybody, you can also find the Modern Woodworkers on Facebook, facebook.com/modernwoodworkers, on Google+, Modern Woodworkers Association, and of course our website. What's that again, Dyami?
ModernWoodworkersAssociation.com.
And of course, if you want to start a chapter of your own, just click on the Join MWA tab at the top of the page. And remember, membership is free, but the connections you make are priceless. On the resident shop monkey, Tom Iovino, I wish you all happy sawdust.